this is so stupid. Which isn't just a line from, but also a brief summary of my thoughts on Spirit Halloween. And this movie is shit. I usually have a better lead up for that. I'm sorry. Let me try that again. Let me think. Wait, I got it. Goodness goddamn motherfucking me, this movie is fucking dog shit. I am going to read a couple things off my notes before I get into the cast and crew and stuff like that, such as I wonder how many execs from the retail chain Spirit Halloween, by the way, spoiler, yes, this is themed around a Spirit Halloween store that three boys decide to get locked in just to have a fun night on Halloween. And also there's an evil spirit trying to get at them, as will happen in a movie like this. But I wonder how many dollars, or maybe even pennies, the execs threw at this and said, let's get a couple name actors and then let's take the concept of a Disney Channel, Disney XD, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas movie and take about the same level of writing from a Hallmark movie, just with way more vapidness and way less heart, and let's just completely waste every goddamn scene and every second of the viewer's time by doing the worst stuff possible. How can we do this the cheapest way possible? I know. Remember that show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Let's do it like that, but let's not even have the budget that one individual episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark would have. Let's not do that. Let's make it like the Goosebumps series, only let's make it worse. Let's make it not even to the point where anything could be remotely scary to even a kid that has sustained several major head injuries, maybe right out of the goddamn womb, and never was able to develop beyond the ability to stand up and chew gum at the same time. No, they wouldn't even be scared by this. But let's just have a couple people. Oh, Rachel Lee Cook, she was great and she's all that. Let's have her. Let's have Christopher Lloyd. And then let's just get a bunch of kids and then let's just shoot it in an old Toys R Us store with our own merch. Our own merch that is so goddamn cheap that it could be just absolutely, blown away by a slight breeze. You could blow on it and that stuff would tumble out or maybe would slip through a crack like Kate Moss in The Family Guy. And also, I also wrote down, I wonder how many hostages from everybody, from every cast member and every crew members in Inner Circle, whether they had extended family or whatever, were held either at gunpoint, over a turbine, over the Mangler, over a waterfall that TLC went to chase, over a cornfield filled with the children of the corn. And just, I don't know, maybe they could have been over Carrie's grave and Carrie just kept doing this and trying to grab and stuff like that. But how many were held hostage? And how many people basically had to witness this stuff and were forced at gunpoint, literally, just off camera, to act in a movie that had no fucking right to exist? This got a limited theatrical release. Somehow. There are indie horror films and other films that have maybe a little less budget than this, but have more ingenuity, have more thought, have more passion, actually have, something that they could contribute to society, unlike this, which is dreadful, and could do something for filmmaking. No. This gets a limited theatrical release, and because viewers requested it, and my theater in town that is literally about 7 miles from my house had it, I had really no excuse not to plunk down the little surcharge because I have the Regal app and sit there and watch it. There were 3 other people in the theater, and I think between the 4 of us, I think we maybe shared one laugh, and that was by one guy that I'm almost convinced probably was there to see if any of the, prepubescent or maybe even of the, the teenage crowd were just going to get him a little bit hot. He looked the type. That's a horrible accusation, but he did look the type. Now, that being said, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this plot. So you have Jake, played by Donovan Colon, not colon. It's an A instead of an O. Though having a colonoscopy with a freaking cat of 9 tails and a camera attached to it, and just repeatedly doing that, and repeatedly being flogged with another cat of 9 tails, and being choked out with a cat of 9 tails while you're getting a colonoscopy done by a cat of 9 tails camera would actually be less painful than watching this. Can you tell that I absolutely hate this? I absolutely goddamn hate this movie. By the way, I didn't even mention who directed this. David Poag, P-O-A-G, or maybe the A silent. Maybe he's back in Pog form. Wait, you sold my soul and gave this movie to a man named Pog. How dare you, studios I don't remember the names of. I hope that you guys are happy with yourselves. Look, I understand it's a kid's movie, but I don't know what the target audience for this would be, because I don't understand how anybody could find this scary or find this amusing. The writing is absolutely terrible. The kids almost seemed like they wanted to be literally anywhere else. You had Donovan Cullen playing Jake. He lost his dad. His dad gave him a spirit book. Every child needs a fucking spirit book. Why not? And then there's Carson, who wants to be the grown-up. He wants to be doing, this is growing, da, 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 da. Blink 182 times if you're in trouble, people. 182 times between all y'all. And then there's Jaden J. Smith, not to be confused with Will Smith's kid that was in After Earth. That kid never deserves to have any happiness because of that. God damn, that movie was shit. Rachel Lee Cook, by the way, who I love. I've loved since She's All That. I loved her in Love Guaranteed. I wish she had gotten meatier roles. I mean, I know she's done acting, it's just I always felt like she could have been more. She got a bubbly personality. She... Again, loved her since She's All That. She still looks great. Looks fucking incredible. And from interviews, has just the sweetest personality. Has a good understanding of comedic timing. Speaking of comedic timing, Christopher Lloyd. This is not necessarily a spoiler because there are really no ways. There's really no way to spoil anything here. Christopher Lloyd from Taxi, Back to the Future, one of the most iconic villains in movie history in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was goddamn great there. He's in it for 5 minutes, and 5 minutes might even be generous. I understand that the man was around when slavery was just being abolished. What I'm trying to say is he's old, but goddamn, seriously? The best you could get is 5 minutes, and the reason is because this Spirit Halloween store is being haunted by an evil entity. Well, if I said somebody was only in there for 5 minutes, I wonder if you can guess who the spirit is. It's Christopher Lloyd. It's his character, Alex Windsor. And he possesses various things and chases them down in this store. And also there's his sister Kate, played by Marissa Reyes, who I swear I've seen her in something. I can't necessarily place her. But yeah. The name, the actor playing Carson is named Dylan Martin Frankel, and that name sounds way too snooty to be in a movie like this. But yeah, every kid acts really bad and does really forced emotions. And look, there's nothing wrong with doing a kid comedy where you have kids growing up. I mean, hell, you did It. I mean, I laughed at It. I was also terrified by It. By It! You can do coming-of-age stuff. You want to see a dead body? It would be this movie. This movie was DOA. From the opening, I knew we were in trouble. And the thing is again, the special effects. I don't expect much from a movie called Spirit Halloween, which I imagine was made not just on a shoestring, but a broken shoestring that has since been tied together, and you have to be careful to tie it so the knot that you tied there doesn't get caught in your laces, and then you don't have to undo it and everything and do that, and then you're late for work, and then your boss yells at you. Not speaking from experience, much. You can't necessarily, I guess, be mad at a movie like this. Well, I am. Here's why I'm mad at a movie like this. So many movies, as I said before, got put to streaming. Prey got put to streaming. This gets a limited theatrical release, and it's going to be out on streaming in a couple weeks. If this movie makes more than $1 million at the box office nationwide, I will be shocked. So yeah, there's not much to this. I'm going to get into spoilers here in a bit, not that it goddamn matters, but let's just get into it. But yeah, go and watch it if your theater's playing it, or wait for streaming. Your kids may like it, though if your kids do laugh at it too much, you might want to have a DNA test to make sure that they aren't the mailman's kids or the milkman's kids. Do milkmen even still exist? God, maybe they could give some bottles of milk to people, and they could throw them at the screen. Or everybody that greenlit this movie and funded it. You goddamn pieces of shit. What the hell's wrong with you? 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, so Alex Windsor, Christopher Lloyd's character, he shows up and he is going to level an orphanage. He tells this one old lady, or not this one old lady, it's for wayward children. tells this one lady that's hanging up stuff or whatever, I have the deed and the land is mine. There's also this kid whose doll he stepped on. And then this lady curses him. And a spirit flies out a few minutes later. Or a couple minutes later. That's it for Christopher Lloyd. You hear his voice, you see his spirit, and you see him in a Grim Reaper, in a giant teddy bear, in a weird crab-walking creature, and you also get to see Rachel Lee Cook desperately try to make material or something out of this material, and bless her for doing that. None of the kids are any good. I hope they go on to do bigger and better things. I really am trying hard to be complimentary of this complete dog shit abomination of a film. But you have the old thing where, the old cliche, Jake lost his dad, he has the spell book, he doesn't get along with his mom's new significant other, or his, the dad's daughter from a previous marriage that's just a sweet little kid that just wants to be accepted, wants to go trick-or-treating. But no, Jake's upset, and also he likes Kate, Marissa Reyes, even though she's a little bit too old for him, even though I'm convinced, looking at these actors, I think there's maybe a 3-year difference, and I don't know which one's actually younger, because it's hard to tell with people. Nevertheless, the brilliant idea is to be locked in the Spirit Halloween store, and then they do bad stuff. They do bad comedy, terrible comedy. They realize the spirit's trapped him, or it has them trapped in there. Kate ends up searching for them and finally gets in through the vent. And meanwhile, Rachel Lee Cook's character is just looking around all confused and everything, and finally decides to go out because she can't get a hold of her son. And then she's going to try and do the brilliant thing of breaking into the Spirit Halloween store. So as Christopher Lloyd's spirit is breaking in, or entering all these toys and everything, and all this stuff's getting destroyed, are there no security cameras in this place? What the hell is going on? I don't understand how in the world, maybe the authorities weren't called. Are no alarms being set? I know it's an abandoned Toys R Us, and by the time Toys R Us was ready to go out of business, they couldn't even afford to, well, spell the word alarm, never mind have one. But nevertheless, no way to trip anything. They find, by the way, that this Toys R Us Spirit Halloween store was built on top of the old orphanage. Okay. And then they find there's this little almost dollhouse-like cabin down there, and it's got weird stuff. But also, Christopher Lloyd, Alex Windsor's after them. Well, because of all these costumes that he's possessed, and they set him on fire one point, Bo, Jaden J. Smith's character, uses a lighter and a can of Raid to set him on fire, because he's a little pyromaniac there. They decide to get these 3 costumes together. You need to have, the spellbook says, get 3 things together, get something to sacrifice, something important, an heirloom, and then do it, and you can release a spirit. And then the spirit possesses Kate, because of course it has to. She actually has the worst contacts and some of the worst makeup and hair in movie history. And this is going back to the silent movie days. But she does all this, she's like throwing all this stuff around. These special effects are shit. The fire effects look like they're straight out of the 1980s. Actually, remember Merlin's Shop of Mystical Wonders? Remember how bad it looked when the fire was shooting out of that guy's, the side of that guy's face? That looked better than this. And then they're doing bad special effects. All these things are coming to life. And then they finally manage to get the book. They burn the book instead. And they burn it with all the stuff. That releases the spirit. And then there you go, right there. Also, Bo had a grandmother that suddenly just disappears. And she almost looks eerily similar to the woman from the beginning. So everything's fine. A year later, Jake and his little sister get along. He's getting along with his mother and his new dad. And there you go. And they're going to hang out and they're going to have fun and everything. But then we go back to the little dollhouse thing, and Alex Windsor's spirit is somehow back and put in a skull. I guess we're going to get Spirit Halloween 2. Why the fuck did we make one of these to begin with? Boogaloo. I cannot even begin to describe, to even come close to. If I wanted to, I could do a 2-parter and dissect every single thing about this, but I will never watch this again. I will never watch this shit again. From opening to closing, it is one of the worst things I've ever goddamn seen. And I know it's supposed to not be taken all that seriously. The problem is, this movie is every cliche human centipede together and done in the most serious way possible in any of the comedy. It doesn't land. None of this learn. Why did they waste Rachel Lee Cook? Why was Christopher Lloyd in this? Why was anybody in this? Were any of the hostages actually released, or did the, uh, Spirit Halloween heads basically say, we're going to cap every single one of them even though they made this movie? That's a horrible accusation that I just made about Spirit Halloween. So there you go. I mean, but I'm just assuming, because given the fact that they are suddenly gone like queefs in the night, that maybe that's what they did. Maybe they just evaporate all their employees and they evaporate all the people that they held hostage so they could get people to make Spirit Halloween. If this isn't the worst movie of the year or right up there, I don't know what is. Agree, disagree what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.